Close your eyes, just for a moment. In your heart, feel the pulse of a life already fulfilled. Not someday, not one day, but now, right now. What if I told you your time has already come? You are not waiting for the right moment. You are the moment. There's nothing to wait for, no better opportunity, no higher power to grant you permission. You are the power. You are the authority. In the quiet stillness of your inner world, you hold the brush. Life becomes what you dare to paint in your imagination. You don't hope for it. You don't beg for it. You assume it. You feel it as real now, even if your senses scream otherwise. You see, the world outside is only a shadow, a delayed echo. It reflects not what you wish for, but what you claim as true. So the question is, what are you claiming right now? The moment you say, "This is who I am," and truly feel it, you bend reality. You command it to obey, not with force, not with effort, but with knowing. To act as if your time has come is to walk, speak, breathe, and believe from the place where your desire already exists. You don't look to see if it's working. You don't seek validation. You live it. You embody it. And as you do, something miraculous happens. Time folds. Reality shifts. People, events, and circumstances rearrange, not because you chased them, but because you became the version of yourself for whom these things are natural. Your job is not to question the how. Your job is to dwell in the feeling of already being. Hold it. Nurture it. Refuse to be moved by the world of appearances, because the world that matters is within you, and it responds to your assumption as law. So I ask you now, will you keep rehearsing the past, or will you claim the future by living it today? Because when you act as if your time has come, it does. You don't become worthy of it, you realize you already are, and the world has no choice but to reflect that truth back to you. So stand tall. Smile like the miracle has already happened. Speak like the doors are already opened. Walk like the promise has already been fulfilled. Because the moment you do, it is. Your time isn't coming. You hear? Now act like it. Imagination is the seed of reality in the unseen depths of consciousness. Before a thing is formed, before a word is spoken, before any action is taken, there lies imagination. It is not idle fantasy, not fleeting daydream, but the origin of all that will ever come to pass. Everything you touch, everything you call real, was once an unseen image held in the mind of someone who dared to believe it. A building stands because someone imagined its shape, its purpose, its weight in the skyline. A relationship blooms because one imagined connection, intimacy, love, and warmth. A fortune is made because someone envisioned abundance in a world that may have looked scarce. Nothing comes forth in the world of form without first passing through the gates of imagination. The mind is the womb of reality, and imagination is its creative act. When you imagine vividly, with full feeling, you begin the unseen process of creation. It doesn't matter whether your current life reflects the vision. What matters is the inner movement. The moment you see it clearly in the theater of your mind, the moment you let it feel natural and real, you plant the seed, and that seed does not question its ability to grow. It doesn't look for proof or permission. It knows only how to become. Imagination doesn't wait for the world to agree. It declares what will be, and the world bends in time to make it so. The seen world lags behind, but the unseen is immediate. When you imagine, you step into the cause of all things, the source of your own transformation. Imagination is not a tool you pick up occasionally. It is the atmosphere in which your life unfolds. Whether you use it deliberately or by default, it is always creating, always forming, always shaping the path beneath your feet. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That means to move beyond hoping, beyond wanting, beyond waiting, and to step directly into the emotional experience of already being the person you desire to be, already having the life you long for. It is a quiet shift, invisible to the world, but profound in its effect. You do not wait for the outer world to give you permission to feel joy, confidence, love, or success. You decide that now is the moment, and you wear that feeling like a garment. To assume is to claim ownership. You don't try to feel it, you feel it. You don't pretend, it becomes natural. You embody the state of the wish fulfilled with every breath, with every word, with every inner conversation. The feeling is the secret code the universe responds to. It is not the words you say aloud, nor the affirmations you repeat, but the inner tone of your being that determines your world. When you assume the feeling, you are not imagining the future. You are relocating yourself in consciousness. You are declaring that this is your truth now, and from that position you look out at the world. You move through life, not as one seeking, but as one who has already found. You think from the end, not of it. You speak from the place where the desire is already fulfilled, and you allow that feeling to become your emotional home. It may seem unnatural at first, especially when the senses reflect the opposite. But the feeling is not meant to confirm what is. It is meant to create what will be. The outer world is slow to catch up, but the inner state shifts in an instant. That shift is the cause, the origin, the spark. You carry yourself differently. Your posture changes. Your energy speaks before you do. You begin to draw to you what matches the feeling you dwell in. There is no force in this assumption, no striving. It is a gentle but firm acceptance that what you desire is already yours in the unseen realm. And by living in that feeling, you invite it into the seen. Your current circumstances are echoes of old beliefs. What you see around you right now, the relationships, the finances, the opportunities, the limitations, they are not the result of who you are today, but the residue of past assumptions, past states of being, past self-concepts that you once accepted as true. Reality as you experience it is always one step behind your inner world. It is a mirror that reflects back to you the beliefs you once held as dominant. This means the life you're living now was shaped not by your current desires, but by the feelings and convictions you dwelled in days, weeks, or even years ago. The person who worried about lack, the version of you that questioned their worth, the self that doubted their ability to be loved or succeed, those beliefs, if accepted as truth, form the mold into which your present reality has been poured. It's not punishment, it's not failure, it's simply the law in action. The world is not judging you, it is obeying you. It does not respond to your words or your wishes, it responds to what you have internalized as your identity. And so, what you see now is nothing more than the outer world catching up to who you once believed yourself to be. If the belief no longer serves you, that's not a crisis. It's a signal, a signpost that invites you to turn inward and revise the story you're telling yourself. You are not trapped by what surrounds you. You are simply witnessing a reflection of what you used to assume. The power lies in knowing that if those beliefs created this, new beliefs will create something entirely different. But the change is never found by battling the present. It's not corrected by reacting to circumstances. It's only transformed when you shift your attention inward and recondition the state you live in. If you can accept that what you see is just an echo, you won't be intimidated by it. You won't be discouraged by delay or contradiction. You'll know that the echo always fades, and what replaces it is determined by the new assumption you dare to embody right now. Living as if creates alignment. It brings your inner world and outer actions into harmony with the reality you desire. When you live as if your dream is already fulfilled, you are no longer waiting, you are being. You are no longer hoping, you are knowing. This shift is subtle, but it changes everything. It moves you out of the vibration of lack and into the frequency of fulfillment. You begin to think, speak, act, and feel from the end rather than toward it. To live as if is not to fake or force, but to embody. It means you begin to move through your day with the posture, the energy, the mindset of someone who already has what they once wanted. Your choices reflect a new identity. You carry yourself with the confidence of one who belongs in the life they envisioned. This alignment between belief, feeling, and behavior sends a clear signal, a consistent frequency, and that signal reshapes the world around you. When there is alignment, there is no contradiction. You are not affirming wealth while behaving in fear of poverty. You are not affirming love while expecting rejection. Instead, your assumptions, your thoughts, and your actions are all flowing from the same place, from the truth that it is already done. And when you live that truth, you begin to see the evidence of it. This way of being creates a magnetic pull. People, opportunities, and resources begin to find you, not because you are chasing them, but because you are resonating with them. You become a match for the reality you have imagined. Living as if doesn't just shift how you feel, it shifts how life responds to you. The gap between the inner and the outer begins to close. You're no longer trying to become something. You are simply expressing what you've already accepted as real. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. It is the quiet but unwavering conviction that what you have imagined, felt, and assumed is already real, even before any sign appears in the outer world. Faith is not blind hope or desperate wishing. It is inner certainty. It is the refusal to be swayed by appearances, to be shaken by delay, or to be discouraged by contradiction. It holds fast to the invisible truth, even when the visible world offers no confirmation. To have faith is to choose the inner vision over the outer facts. It is to see with the eyes of the spirit rather than the eyes of the flesh. You don't need to understand how it will unfold. You don't need to trace every step or map out the exact path. Faith does not rely on logic. It relies on alignment. It stands firm in the assumption that what you have imagined is already yours, and in that assumption, it rests. Loyalty to the unseen means you don't break your inner agreement with your desire just because the world hasn't yet caught up. You don't revise your belief downward when circumstances appear unchanged. You don't panic because you know that the unseen always precedes the seen. You remain loyal to the state within you, the version of you who already has, who already is, who already knows. And in that loyalty, you find peace. This loyalty is not passive. It is a daily act of devotion to the inner world. Every time you return to the feeling of fulfillment, every time you speak as though it is done, every time you refuse to argue for limitation, you are exercising faith. Not faith in chance or in someone else, but in the power of your own assumption. You trust that your imagined reality is more real than what the senses report, and you stand in that trust until the world must yield to it. You are the operant power. Nothing moves unless you move it. No transformation takes place in your life without your inner permission. This truth is both liberating and humbling, for it places the full creative responsibility in your hands. There is no external force deciding your fate, no outside condition dictating your destiny. Everything you experience flows from the state of consciousness you choose to occupy. To be the operant power means that your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions, and your inner conversations are not passive experiences, they are active forces. You are not at the mercy of the world. The world is shaped by the impressions you leave upon it. Every time you imagine a new reality and accept it as true, you set a creative cause in motion. Every assumption you live from becomes a blueprint that your outer world must follow. It is not about forcing the world to bend to your will, but about recognizing that the world cannot help but reflect what you have accepted within. The moment you declare something is true for you and persist in that inner knowing, your circumstances begin to rearrange themselves in alignment with it. You do not need to seek permission or wait for validation. You need only to assume the state and live from it. This power does not require effort in the physical sense. It requires clarity, consistency, and a willingness to believe in your own creative authority. When you realize that you are the source, not the effect, you stop reacting and begin originating. You stop asking how things will happen and start deciding what will happen. You stop looking for signs and become the sign. Every experience in your life begins with you, not with what others think, not with the news, not with chance, but with the imaginal acts you perform daily, whether consciously or unconsciously. And because you are the operant power, you have the ability at any moment to shift direction, to revise your inner state, and to watch as reality follows. Every moment is a decision point. Each second offers you the quiet opportunity to choose, remain in the familiar patterns of the past, or step into the unseen reality of who you are becoming. This decision is not always loud or dramatic. Often it's subtle, an internal turning, a shift in focus, a change in posture, a new thought allowed to take root where an old one used to live. You are always deciding, whether consciously or not. You are deciding what story to tell yourself, what emotional tone to carry, what state of being to inhabit. And with every choice, you reinforce either the old self you've outgrown or the new self you're calling into being. There is no neutral ground. You are always impressing something upon your consciousness, and that impression determines the direction of your life. In each moment, you are either assuming the state of the wish fulfilled or reaffirming the absence of it. When doubt arises, you decide whether to entertain it or to return to the feeling of certainty. When a delay tempts you to react, you choose whether to identify with fear or remain loyal to your vision. These decisions may feel small, but they are the bricks of your reality. Over time, they form the foundation of your outer world. The beauty of this truth is that you are never stuck. No matter how long you've dwelled in an undesired state, the power to shift remains available now. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances improve, but in this breath, this heartbeat, this thought. You are never at the mercy of what has been. You are always standing at a crossroads, able to revise, to assume anew, to enter into a different state of being. The world responds not to the passage of time, but to the decisions you make in consciousness. And since every moment is alive with choice, transformation is never far. It's always as near as your willingness to decide again, to return to your inner power, and to embody the version of you that already knows the desire is fulfilled. Time is not the master, you are. It does not hold power over your manifestation, your progress, or your becoming. Time is not the force that determines when your desire will appear. Your assumption is. The belief that things must take long, that certain steps must unfold over months or years, is a concept born from the senses, not from truth. In the unseen realm, there is only now, and in that now, all possibilities exist. When you understand that time bends to consciousness, you stop waiting and start creating. You stop placing your fulfillment in some distant future and begin to access it inwardly, instantly. The outer world may move according to clocks and calendars, but the inner world moves by conviction. What you accept as real within determines how fast or slow things appear without. Time is not the barrier. Hesitation is. Delay is not caused by the universe withholding, but by your own resistance to fully dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled. You are not a servant of time. You are the one who dictates the pace by what you believe to be true. If you say it takes years, it will. If you say it happens quickly, it can. But beyond speed, the real mastery lies in detaching from time entirely. When you live in the end, when you feel the desire as done, time loses its grip. You are no longer waiting, you are living. You are no longer measuring, you are knowing. And that knowing collapses the illusion of time altogether. Nothing is postponed except by the state of consciousness you maintain. The moment you shift within, time begins to reorganize around that shift. Events fall into place, opportunities emerge, people appear, all synchronized by your decision to occupy the fulfilled state now. You do not chase the manifestation through time, you summon it by being it now. Your assumptions create your identity. Every belief you hold about yourself, whether conscious or unconscious, forms the foundation of who you think you are. These assumptions act like a script running in the background of your mind, directing how you perceive the world and how you behave within it. They define your limits, shape your possibilities, and determine the experiences you attract. When you assume something about yourself, you are declaring that truth to your own consciousness, and it responds accordingly. You may not always realize how deeply these assumptions influence you. They are often so ingrained that they feel like facts, unchangeable and permanent. Yet they are simply mental constructs, habits of thought that can be rewritten. When you change your assumptions, you rewrite your identity. You shift from being someone who experiences lack to someone who lives in abundance. You move from seeing yourself as unworthy or incapable to knowing yourself as deserving and powerful. This process is not about pretending or forcing a false image. It is about consciously choosing to believe in a new version of yourself that aligns with your desires. When you consistently hold this new assumption, your entire being begins to conform to it. Your actions, your speech, your feelings, and your interactions all begin to reflect the person you assume yourself to be. Over time, this new identity becomes natural, undeniable, and unstoppable. Because your assumptions are the root of your identity, they are also the source of every experience you create. Change your assumptions, and you change your life from the inside out. Resistance is proof of new creation. Whenever you feel tension, doubt, or inner conflict, it signals that something within you is shifting. Something old is being challenged by the birth of something new. Resistance is not a sign of failure or defeat. It is a natural part of the creative process. It arises when your current reality, shaped by old beliefs and patterns, pushes back against the new assumption you are trying to embody. This pushback can feel uncomfortable. It may come as fear, procrastination, distraction, or even external obstacles. But these moments of resistance are actually invitations. They call you to stand firmer in your new state, to reaffirm your vision, and to refuse the temptation to return to the familiar. They mark the boundary between your past identity and the emerging self you are becoming. The presence of resistance shows that you are breaking through old limitations and expanding your consciousness. It means you are no longer content with the way things have been. You are daring to create something different, something better. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without discomfort, there is no transformation. The tension is a sign that your inner world is realigning, reshaping, and preparing to manifest a new reality. In this way, resistance becomes not your enemy but your ally. It helps you recognize where your deepest commitments lie and where you may still be holding on to old identities. When you meet resistance with patience, persistence, and faith, you harness its energy as fuel for creation rather than allowing it to become a barrier. Here's the friction necessary to ignite change and bring forth your vision into form. Persistence in feeling creates inevitability. It is not merely the occasional thought or fleeting hope that brings your desire into reality, but the steady, unwavering continuation of the feeling that your wish is already fulfilled. When you persistently dwell in the emotional state of having what you want, you impress that feeling deeply onto your consciousness. This repetition transforms the imagined into the inevitable. Feeling is the language of creation. It is the signal sent to the unseen realm that activates the process of manifestation. When that feeling is persistent, it becomes a force that cannot be ignored. Like a river carving through rock, consistent feeling wears away resistance and shapes the landscape of your reality. The world outside eventually aligns to match the inner world you refuse to let go of. This persistence does not mean struggling or forcing. It means calmly returning again and again to the feeling, even when the outer circumstances seem unchanged or contrary. It is a quiet faith expressed through feeling rather than words or action alone. The more you persist in that feeling, the more natural it becomes, until it no longer feels like an effort but a state of being. Through this steadfast emotional commitment, your desire moves from possibility to certainty. The unseen shifts beneath your feet, arranging circumstances, opening doors, and attracting the people who resonate with your new reality. Persistence in feeling is the secret to turning dreams into facts, because what is consistently felt as real must in time be experienced as real. And so, you now know your imagination is the blueprint, your feeling is the signal, your assumption is the foundation, and your faith is the force that brings all things into form. You are not at the mercy of circumstances, time, or the opinions of others. You are the operant power, the cause, the creator. Every moment offers a doorway. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is a choice. When you live as if your time has come, you no longer beg for change. You become it. You no longer hope for your desires. You embody them. You no longer ask if it's possible. You declare that it already is. This is not theory. It is not wishful thinking. It is the silent law governing your life. And once you step into the state of the wish fulfilled, once you feel it, live it, and stay loyal to it, the world cannot help but reflect it. Act as if your time has come, and watch how quickly the world agrees. Thank you.